Hey guys, it's Miss Katz again, and this time we are going to be looking at the second half of the Unit 2 End of Unit Study Guide for my on-level classes. We're going to pick right up where we left off in the last video and question number 10. So 10 says that there are 40 kiloliters of fruit punch served at a party, and we want to know how many liters were served, okay? So we've got 40 kiloliters, and we're going to set up a proportion here. And we know that 1 kiloliter equaled 1,000 liters. Okay? We're trying to find the liters down here. So we need to figure out, what did I do? I multiplied 1 times 40 to get the 40 kiloliters. Whatever I do on the top, I'm going to do on the bottom. Now when you multiply times 1,000, we keep those 3 zeros. And we add them to whatever we are multiplying by. So this 40 gets 3 more zeros when you multiply. So this answer is 40,000 liters. Okay. In question number 11, it says, if 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds, how many pounds are equal to 7 tons? So let's take a look at that. 1 ton, so tons on the top, equal to 2,000 pounds. So 1 ton, 2,000 pounds. And it asks us how many pounds, so we don't know the pounds, are equal to 7 tons. 1 times 7 is 7, and 2,000 times 7 is going to be 14 with those 3 zeros. So it'll be 14,000 pounds. All right, question number 12. A school bus used 30 gallons of gas to drive 450 miles. At this rate, we want to know how many gallons are needed to drive 1,500 miles. So the two things we're comparing here are gallons to miles. So gallons to miles. And it said 30 gallons went 450 miles. I want to know how many gallons are needed to drive 1,500 or 1,500 miles. And we don't know the gallons. Now, I would simplify this. Let's simplify it by a factor of 10. Actually, let's simplify it by a factor of 30. That happens to go in here. If you divide by 30, I'm going to rewrite this. You're going to get 1 over. Now, if you're not sure, let's do the math. 450 divided by 30. 30 goes into 45 once. And 30 happens to go into 155 times. This is that front-end estimation. How many 3's go into 15? 5. So 30 goes into 150 5 times. So we know that this is going to be 15. All right, how many zeros do we need to make added onto here? We need 2. So if we multiply by 100, that's where those 2 zeros come from. So it turns out, it asked, at this rate, how many gallons of gas? 100 gallons of gas are needed to drive 1,500 miles. All right, in question number 13, Mrs. Katz can type 240 words in 3 minutes. Which proportion could be used to find the number of words she can type in 10 minutes? All right, so we're comparing words to minutes. And this is 240 words in 3 minutes. And I want to know how many words, so this is the thing I don't know, she can type in 10 minutes. Now these are not compatible numbers, so let's see if we can simplify, and we can. We're going to divide by 3. So when we divide by 3 on the top, we're actually going to get 80, and on the bottom we're going to get 1. So how do I get from 1 to 10? I multiplied by 10. We're going to do the same thing on the top, so it turns out we have 800. She can type 800 words in 10 minutes. All right, let's look at number 14. KO spent $32.50 on 13 gallons of gas. At this rate, we want to know how much 15 gallons of gas would cost. All right, so we're comparing dollars to gallons. And it said $32.50 for 13 gallons, and I want to know how much for 15. Now, there's a couple of different ways we could look at this problem, but based on what we know, I'm going to use the butterfly method. So remember that the butterfly method asks us to multiply the two numbers we know that are across from each other. So 3250 times 15. 5, carry the 2, 10, that's 12, 16. Then put a 0 for my next row, and then literally 1 times everything is exactly what we got. Remember, we've got 2 decimal places, so it goes right here. So far we've done the multiplication, and the butterfly method says we're going to divide by that leftover number. So now we're going to take 48750 and divide it by 13. And you guys might be saying to yourself, oh, that's ugly numbers, we can't do that. Yes, we can. Unit 1, we did tons and tons of long division, and we did tons of work with decimals. So because there's no decimal in my divisor, my decimal just floats to the top in my answer, and then forget that it's even there. Just line up your numbers. 13 goes into here, I'm guessing 3 times. Let's see, 13 times 3 is 39. 13 times 4 is 52, so that's too much. Notice I'm not going to delete these or scratch them out or erase them because I might need these calculations again as I complete this problem. So it looks like 13 will go into 48 3 times, leaving me 39. When I subtract, I'm left with 9. I bring down the 7. Okay, well, we know 52 is not enough. So let's make some guesses here. 39, you might be able to do a couple times. So let's just try 7. 13 times 7 is 91, and that's about as close as I'm going to get to 97. So we're going to make a 7 here, and that's 91. And I'm going to drop down the 5 now. 13 goes into 65. Well, it looks like it could be 4 or 5, so let's see. It's exactly 5, so we're going to put the 5 here. That gets me 65. And don't forget that we still have this 0 here, and we need to bring it down. Whenever we bring something down, something's got to go up. So 13 goes into 0 times. At this rate, how much would it 15 gallons would cost $37.50. Now, I know that those numbers are ugly. They're not real happy numbers. However, you guys have all the tools you need to solve that problem. It just takes a little bit of time, and sometimes it's worth putting in the effort. All right, let's take a look at number 15. If Victor drove 520 miles in 8 hours, we want to know at that rate, how long will it take him to travel 1,105 miles? Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so we're comparing miles to hours. So he went 520 miles in 8 hours, and we're trying to figure out how long it would take him to go 1,105 miles. Now, I have no idea if these are compatible numbers or not, but I do know I've got even numbers here, so I can simplify. And the more we simplify these numbers, no matter which method we use to solve, the easier the numbers are going to be to work with. However, let's just let's just simplify. We know that they're divisible by 2, so let's start there, okay? And actually, no, you know what? We know they're divisible by 4 because the rule for 4s was that if the last 2 digits, the number 20 here, is divisible by 4, the whole number will be divisible by 4. So let's figure out how many 4s go into 520. 3. And remember, if you bring a number down, 1 has to go up in its place. So this will become 130 over 2. And since these are both still even, I can continue to simplify, and I'm going to do that. So 130 divided by 2 is 65. So we know this is going to be 65 over 1 equals 1105 over x. Okay? Now, we don't know what the multiplier is here to get from 65 to 1105, so let's use the butterfly method. So I'm going to multiply the two numbers I know, and because this is times 1, we're going to get 1,105, and we always divide by that third number. All right? So 65 and 65, we already know that was 130, because when we divided by 2, we got 65. So if we multiply by 2, we're going to get 130. That's too big. So we know 65 only goes in here once. And that leaves us with 45. Bring down the 5. And let's make a guess. Well, 65 is kind of close to 50. So I'm guessing that we need at least 8. Let's see what 65 times 8 gets us. 48, that's 52. Oh, that's actually too high. So we can back it down a little bit, all right? So let's try 65 times 7. 42, 45. So it goes in 7 times. And it looks like then it will take 17 hours. Okay, number 6. Chris won a pie eating contest. Eating 9 pies in 15 minutes. At this rate, how long will it take him to eat 54 pies? So again, pies per minute. So it said he ate 9 pies in 15 minutes, and we want to know how long it will take him to eat 54 pies. All the pies go on top. Well, this one I don't even have to simplify, even though I can, because I know this relationship. It's times 6. Whatever I do on the top, I do on the bottom, and 15 times 6 is 90. So at this rate, how long will it take him? It will take 90 minutes to eat 54 pies. All right, in question number 17, if Abdul went to a restaurant and had a total bill of $45 and he left a $25 tip, how much tip did he leave? All right, so we had a total bill. So this is a percent problem. We're going to set up our structure. We know the percentage, which was 25, and I want to know the tip, which is a part of the total bill. Okay? Again, we can simplify here. Divide by 25. You're going to get 1 over 4. Now, 45 and 4 are not terribly easily compatible. So this is going to be another one of those cases where we're going to use that butterfly method. So you're going to multiply the two numbers we know. So 45 times 1 is 45. And you're going to divide by the leftover number. So we're going to divide that by 4. Okay, it goes in once. Now here's the deal. I got a remainder. Can't just leave it there. I got to keep going. And in order to do that, I'm going to drop a decimal and raise 1 to my answer, and then add a 0 so I can bring it down. And 4 goes into 10 twice. Still have a remainder, so I'm going to drop another 0, see if we can get rid of this little guy. And 4 goes into 25 times. And now I have no remainder, and that is already set up for money. It'll be $11.25 tip. All right, and the last problem on this study guide is Lorenzo is a server and he received a 15% tip on a $50 bill. How much tip did he receive? So again, the $50 bill, the 15%, $15 bill was the total. So how did I get from 100 to 50? I divided by 2. Whatever I do on the bottom, I do on the top. And just because 15 isn't even doesn't mean we can't divide by 2. 2 goes into 15 7 times. And then to keep going, again, add a decimal and a 0. Now, because this is money, I can't just stop there. I need to make sure that this is money. So we're going to put a 0 placeholder. So it will be a $7.50 tip. Now, remember that when we take a tip or tax, we are taking it of the total, and of means multiply. So the alternative way to do this problem is we could take the 50 times the decimal equivalent for 15%. And remember, to change a percent into a decimal, we move the decimal 2 places to the left. So 0, 2, 5, a 0 placeholder, 0, 5. And remember, there are 2 places here behind decimals. So I'm going to move my decimal 2 places in, and I'll still get that $7.50 tip. All right, guys, remember that my study guides look so similar to my tests, it's hard to tell them apart. Your test may include all or some multiple choice questions within this context, but these questions look just like the test questions you're going to see when you take your test. So if you study this guide and you really truly understand how to do these problems, you will be all set up. All right, study hard and good luck.